Hi, my name is Mariana, and this is my supply chain proposal for optimization based on digital tools. Now, first of all, let's have some context. We all know by now that SuKarne is a company that specializes on the selling and distribution of meat. They have six cities spread throughout Mexico with different regional warehouses that aim to have the products closer to the client by also reducing costs. For me, their supply chain strategy, it's basically the same as a product strategy, basing itself on having low costs but also being available for consumers to buy. Now they have a diverse client portfolio with the main ones being independent stores such as butcher shops, taco shops, fonditas, etc., as well as retail. In a global context, based on Euromonitor 2022, we know that people's behavior with meat is shifting towards food service, so having the meat already prepared, and this is based on people going back to their activities like school, work, etc. And in an article by The Economist, Goldman Sachs, an expert of artificial intelligence, says that the implementation of this AI can bring the logistics cost down by at least 5%. This artificial intelligence can be implemented in different parts of the supply chain, such as process, predictions, finance, inventory management, etc. And now, for a context more based on the metropolitan area, we know that on-time shipment for Mexico, it's 83%. And based on Ecatepec Vallejo agency data, we know that their on-time delivery is as low as 53%. So 47% of their shipments are arrived late. Sorry, deliveries arrive late. Their truck utilization is 70%, which means 30% of their truck space is being wasted. And they travel around 7,500 kilometers each week. It's worth noting that SuKarne allows a 5% deviation in their key performance indicators, which means the minimum acceptable is 95%. Now, the proposal. The proposal is the implementation of this SAP Apple module in order to increase the accuracy of forecasts, have a better inventory management, and improve the relationship with the clients. All of these in order to increase sales. Now, what does SAP Apple improve? First of all, they increase the automatization of processes and the transparency of the information. They can also affect different KPIs of the organization, such as perfect order fulfillment, on-time shipment and on-time delivery, truck utilization, fuel utilization, global available to promise, etc., etc. And they can also improve their inventory management in order to increase sales. Now, why is that? First of all, SuKarne already has an ERP license, which they can easily adapt to their other platforms and also implement the SAP Apple module easier. They will be provided with transparency and availability of data with more automatic processes. And this Apple module covers different parts of the supply chain. So for example, demand planning, global available to promise, scheduling, what they need to order from suppliers, etc. SAP is the main provider of this tool. The main investment that SuKarne needs to make is based on money, time, and training. Now, we do not have the exact number of how much SAP Apple license module costs, but it can range from 50,000 US dollars all the way to 80,000 US dollars. However, for more accurate pricing, they need to contact SAP. Now, the training is provided by SAP, but in case they didn't or they want further training, we are considering 180,000 Mexican pesos, considering 320 hours. This is based on the supposition that SAP courses cost 10,000 pesos. There are six different cities, so three people, mini management from each cities would take it and then provide with further training to their employees. Security is also reviewed with SAP. However, as part from the solutions that SAP offers, they can integrate a one-time code and always have backup of their information. And the specific specifications for Apple can also be reviewed with SAP, but the main ones are the fact that they need an ERP license, which they already have. They need to have internet access for it to work, and there are no specific versions based on language or region, so they really need training for this aspect. Now, the implementation. For the objectives on the short term, so by 2022, they need to have more accurate data on shipments, inventories, trucks, etc., etc. For they then to have more accurate predictions that compile all of this data. In the medium term, by the first half of 2023, they need to have reduced the bottlenecks thanks to the before mentioned forecasts, and they can also implement this project on a national level since it is really scalable and replicable. And on the long term, so in 2024, they can be seeing results on a national level, so for all of the cities. Now, the steps from 1 to 4 everything is compiled on a document that's going to be delivered to SuKarne by Drive. So first of all, we made the industry and market analysis and a supply chain report in order to have a broader understanding of SuKarne and the industry. The phase two was designing the project, delegating activities, and seeing the different phases of the project that we needed to comply with. Now, step three was probably the most challenging, with the creation of a proposal based on a digital tool for SuKarne, in order to then deliver the proposal for SuKarne with different suppositions, results, etc., etc. From 5 to 7, it is up to SuKarne to make it, but basically it's a purchase of this module, as well as having some time for the employees to adapt. 6 is the use of this APO in the metropolitan area and seeing the first results in 2023. And 7 is implementation of national level by the first half of 2023, with the results being on the first quarter of 2024. Now, the scenarios were based on a Google spreadsheets given by SuKarne that compiles sales from September 2021 to April 2022. These are personal calculations, and all of the increases are based on how we saw that the different agencies were behaving, always trying to achieve this 95% at least, and also considering the time that we have, because obviously having a 50% increase in a week, it's impossible. All of this data is based on the Vallejo agency, which is the one that we saw was underperforming the most. Now, first of all, available to promise refers to the quantity that SuKarne can actually confirm from the orders that they receive from their clients. They are currently at around 63%. In a pessimistic scenario, this would increase only 1%, so to 64%. In a moderate, it can increase to 72%, and an optimistic can increase all the way to 82%, so almost 20%. This is, of course, by the first half of 2023. Now, this profit increase may vary, but it's from 283,000 pesos all the way to 8 million pesos. Now, perfect order fulfillment is really, really low. It refers to having the correct product at the correct place at the correct time with proper quality, quantity, etc. They are currently at 39%, almost 40%. So the pessimistic wouldn't really increase a lot. It increases to 40.16%. The moderate increases to 51.69%, and the optimistic increases to 61.63%. It still has a long way to go for this 95%, but an increasement is like this can also be really beneficial for SuKarne. This profit increase may vary from 168,000 pesos all the way to 9 million pesos. And last but not least, confirm versus stock. This is the potential of sales SuKarne can have. So they're currently at 63.20%, with the pessimistic increasing only to 63.84%. However, the moderate goes all the way to 72.68%, and the optimistic increases to 85.32%. Still has a way to go for the 95%, but 10% is always better than 32%. For this, the profit increase varies from 268,000 Mexican pesos in the pessimistic all the way to 6 million Mexican pesos on the optimistic. It's worth noting that all of these assumptions and scenarios are based on one key performance indicator alone. Obviously, the implementation of SAP may work with different KPIs at the same time, which may make these results vary, and they can increase or decrease. However, it is a good idea to implement it. So the implementation of SAP APO, it's a really strong proposal, at least for me. It is really easy to implement, it's easy to understand, and they will be guided with SAP, which is a company that specializes in offering logistics solutions at the end of the day and digital solutions. So SuKarne will be reaching a really, really good partner for this challenge. They may face some problems with platforms or people, but they are easy to overcome at the end of the day. The main investment they will need to make is money, because the training can be done intensively in a short amount of time, or they can take more time. I think this proposal is easy, adaptable, and can really show SuKarne benefits on the long run. The main issue for me here was to make some accurate predictions and data based on the fact that SuKarne didn't provide us with so much information. But I think at least the proposal stands alone and can be really, really beneficial for SuKarne. I learned a lot about the digital implementations and improvements on the supply chain. So that's it. Thank you so much for your attention.